UFC Paris is going down next weekend, and today I'll be going over my early predictions on the whole entire card. Early predictions as in my predictions before I watch film. Now look, last week, or I guess yesterday, Shanghai, pretty good. I mean, I really wish I would have gotten that Ming Yang Zhang win, but we ended up up one unit, hit the wrong Zoom -3.5. We also hit Gage Young live bet as well as Yiza around 1 KO, which I sprinkled a little bit on. And it wouldn't let me put it on my Bet MMA. For those who are wondering, I couldn't put it on there because I only put like 0.5 units on it. It didn't let me do that. So I don't know if I was doing something wrong or whatever it was. But we got this card. DWCS Week 3 and Week 4. I will have those predictions, but I'm doing early predictions. Hopefully, DWCS Week 3 I'll have tomorrow. And yeah, best bets will be on that video as well, hopefully. But let's hop into this card. Pretty good card. It's all right. The first fight up is Shauna Bannon versus Sam Hughes. I'm going with Sam Hughes. You know, Bannon is plus 220 here. And she probably should be. You know, she's probably one of the worst fighters in the roster. And I remember the fight with Puja Tomar. I was talking about how this is going to be the worst skill-for-skill fight in the UFC. And it was, but, you know, it was pretty exciting. Tomar hit her with a huge head kick, nearly finished her, and got wrapped up in an armbar. And I don't think Tomar has wrestled or done jiu-jitsu a day in her life because she looked fish out of water on the mat. Didn't know what was going on. And Sam Hughes just isn't like that. You know, Sam Hughes is actually pretty damn decent. She has good cardio, good pace, and decent striking, decent wrestling. Coming off 2 wins. You know, both split decisions, but these fighters are better than Shauna Bannon. Give me Sam Hughes. I think she wins this fight by unanimous decision, 30-27. And let's move on to Brad Tavares versus Robert Bryczek. Now, looking at this, Bryczek hasn't fought in forever. I mean, this guy last fought Ihor Potieria, lost to Ihor. Where only 2 people have lost to Ihor. Ihor's been a punching bag his whole career, and Robert Bryczek lost to him. Now, we don't have odds on this fight quite yet. And damn, already money's coming in on Trey Waters. Fuck. I was already going to get on that. But anyways, look, Bryczek, he's not great. But this is a perfect opportunity to bet the spread on Robert Bryczek. Now, when I bet spreads, I'm looking at 2 things, right? Brad Tavares, hasn't had a finish since 2018. I don't think he gets a finish here. No way. Brad Tavares is also a UFC veteran who's taken a hell of a lot of damage throughout his career and been knocked out multiple times, been knocked down multiple times. And while I don't think Bryczek's skill for skill is anywhere near Brad Tavares, I think that if Bryczek lands something big, he can steal around and win the spread. You know what I mean? And typically when you drop someone and hurt them, it'll win you the round on every judge's scorecard. So this is a perfect opportunity to go ahead and bet the spread on Robert Bryczek. We just got to see what the number comes out to. So maybe if we get something good, -110, definitely going to play that. So this is a perfect opportunity. And the opportunities that I look for when I'm betting the spread. Also, you can go ahead and play Bryczek KO if you'd like. But overall, Tavares is the better fighter. He should win this fight. He's got better technique. He's a better kickboxer, but the durability is a concern. And the guy hasn't finished anybody in forever. So this is a perfect opportunity to bet Robert Bryczek spread. Expect me to be on that, but give me Tavares for the pick. I would think he wins a decision, 29-28. You know, he's just better than Robert Bryczek. Good low kicks, defensively sound boxing, and his hands are good. I don't think he'll get the finish once again. You know, if you can't finish Gerald Meerschaert at this age, I don't know if you can finish anybody in the middleweight division. So I'll take Bryczek here. I'll take Brad Tavares here by decision. Let's move on to the next one. But look for a bet on Bryczek by Bryczek spread, my bad. Sam Patterson, Trey Waters. Sam Patterson's getting some respect from the odds makers. Obviously, last time out versus Danny Barlow was a big underdog. Now he's a favorite, and when I last checked, he was -200 versus Trey Waters. Money's come in on Trey Waters, and I think that's good, and I think that's how it should be, and I think that's what we're going to see. Because Trey Waters is a long boxer. He's bigger. He's more athletic. And Sam Patterson, while he has a good skill set, his skill set isn't good stylistically for a lot of people. I don't think that his jiu-jitsu or his wrestling is good enough to get Trey Waters to the ground. And I don't think that his striking is good enough to consistently win minutes on the feet versus Trey Waters. So, yeah, I like Trey Waters here. There's rare fighters like Sam Patterson who I just think are very skilled, but they don't have the athleticism, the speed to keep up with the best of the best. And now I don't think Trey Waters is the best of the best, but he is a good athlete, right? And if Patterson can push the pace and survive and, do well, he can go ahead and make Trey Waters tired. And, Trey Waters is 9-1, only lost to Gabriel Bonfim, which is a very good fighter. I think that Patterson has decent striking. I just don't like, his athleticism. Honestly, guys, it's not even like a diss. Like I don't think he's a good athlete, and I think Waters is a better athlete. I don't like Patterson's wrestling. Good trips from the clinch, good jiu-jitsu, but he's not the most powerful striker. And yes, he just knocked out Danny Barlow, where I thought Barlow was going to smoke him, and he didn't do it. Patterson stayed in there and knocked him out. Got too cocky, did Barlow, and Patterson made him pay for it. I like Trey Waters here by decision, 29-28. Or a finish, So, yeah, I think Patterson's a good guy to fade, and just because he's on a 3-fight win streak, I think he'll lose soon. Waters, he could get by Waters. It's a fight I need to do film on 100%, but we'll move on to the next one, where we got William Gomis taking on the debuting Robert Ruchula. William Gomis is a bum, bro. Like, there's fighters that I just don't like. Gomis is a bum, and I always say this about the French cards. I think that the French fans are some of the best, and I look forward to watching French and France cards every single time because the crowd is so exciting and electrifying. But then you got fighters like William Gomis that fucking represent you, and Cyril Gane. Like, these guys, they just fight like kitties and pussies. And I don't want to say that, but it's true. Gomis is, people will rave about his footwork. He doesn't have good footwork. He runs around the octagon. His footwork isn't that good. I've seen way better guys with better footwork, And throw me Jose Delano versus this guy. Delano has good footwork, right? And it's not just he has good footwork. Delano's footwork is way better than Gomis, but he also knows how to counter and close distance better. Gomis is a bum, man. I can't even lie to y'all. And I'm glad Hyder Emil smoked him last time out. I hope Ruchula smokes him. I'm not going to lie, but I don't necessarily know if he will. Ruchula's a grappler, and he's not the best striker, but he is wild. And the reason I think that potentially he could do well here, we just saw a wild, not striker go ahead and beat Gomis. If you stand at range with Gomis, yeah, he's probably going to outpoint you. You won't get hurt or anything, but he might outpoint you. But you can push the pace on him and make him uncomfortable, and you can beat him. I think that this is a good underdog here, potentially. Ruchula, plus 165 versus Gomis, who doesn't win minutes well. Gomis is fighting like a bitch, essentially. Running around, just kicking, and not really trying to hurt your opponent, just trying to outpoint them. And I never like fighters like that. Because does Gomis have a knockout in his career? Let's see. Decision. Oh, he's got a TKO. Oh, yeah. And this wasn't even a TKO. He kicked Gamori in the balls. This guy's a bum, man. I'm going Ruchula for my early prediction. I'll have to rewatch it. Unfortunately, guys, I'm going to have to rewatch William Gomis' tape, which is some of the worst tape ever. It's awful. And then the commentators glaze the guy like, bro, he's not that good, man. We got Rinat Fakhredinov. He's taking on Andreas Gustafsson. Now, Rinat's another guy that I've absolutely despised because I bet against him in 1, 2, and 3 every single time. But he's taking on Andreas Gustafsson, who seems to have been gaining some hype here. And while I think Gustafsson, he's got that wrestling background, if you go back and you watch some of his fights, specifically the losses, these are coming by people that are taking him down and controlling him. So with Rinat Fakhredinov sitting at minus 120, you've got some excellent value to go ahead here and bet Rinat. Now, I need to watch film on this, and I will hopefully get that out soon so I can tweet it out or put it on my Bet MMA. But if you do watch Gustafsson's fight where he's losing, he's getting taken down. And while Rinat has had these shaky decisions, you're getting him at a great number, an excellent number, man. And I think he can go out here and do it. He can control this guy. He can finish him on the ground, 100%. Gustafsson is not, apparently he's got that wrestling background like I talked about, but it's not that good. He's getting taken down by Joyce and Lutterbach, and there's another guy he got taken down by, and I just think that Rinat can take him down. So, honestly, there's a lot of value here, and you're getting this number just because Rinat has had such shaky fights recently, but this is a fight where he can win, and I think that he's going to win. I think that he's going to take Gustafsson down and dominate him. I think he'll look minus 300, and the line actually opened at minus 300 for the odds makers. I guess what did it open? No, it did not open. I guess not. Gustafsson opened at minus 250. Is that right? That is right. So I don't know what they were doing, but the line immediately got to minus 300, and now it's back to here. So whoever hopped on it early was smart, because I think he's going to look minus 300 in this matchup. Now, obviously, this is just an early prediction, but I just remember watching Gustafsson tape and him getting taken down by Lutterbach and kind of smashed on the ground. So I like Rinat here. I think he'll dominate this fight. So as much as I don't like Rinat, and if you look at my Twitter, I probably got a lot of bad tweets about Rinat, but I think he wins this fight. I think it's a good matchup for him. So give me Fakhredinov inside the distance here. Let's move on. I'm going to be completely honest here with y'all. I don't know anything about Ante Dejila. I'm picking Tybura. I don't know anything about the guy. I'm sorry. I apologize. Obviously, this is just early prediction, so I will have something to tell you eventually. But we got Oumar's side taking on Brendson Riberio. And Atlanta being my hometown, I was at UFC Atlanta, and I can't even believe what I was watching from Oumar's side. One of the most disgusting performances I've ever seen. But then again, you check here, and it's just like, why? Why is he fighting like that? How are you getting outpointed on the feet by Alonzo Menefield? And then you're like, oh shit, you're French. You don't want to take chances, and you don't want to go fucking fight and hurt Alonzo Menefield like he can be hurt. So it was a disgusting performance from Sai. And he's an excellent athlete. He's built like a damn truck. He's 6'4" with an 83-inch reach. He's huge. Good grappling, great athlete. He's taking on Riberio, who has got a heavy 1-2, hits hard. And if Oumar Sai comes out here and fights like a you-know-what puss, Riberio's going to knock him the fuck out. But Riberio can be taken down, and his takedown defense is disgusting. This fight, Gagiazulov, disgusting. He hurt Gagiazulov bad, and then he got taken down 2 rounds in a row and dominated on the mat. I think Sai will get him down and go to work. But if he can't, I hope Riberio knocks him out. No, I don't. I want to see Sai get a finish, because I actually think he's promising. I just don't like his last performance at all. So give me Oumar Sai here. I think he wins this fight by submission. And we'll move on to Patricio Pitbull versus Losene Kieta. Now, this has taken a jump of a line. So I know a little bit about this Kieta guy. I know he's an Octagon double champ, which is an impressive feat, 100%. What I will say about, just from watching him a little bit, obviously I know a lot more about Pitbull, but I've watched Kieta quite a bit. He is a hell of an athlete. Like, this guy is really explosive, really fast, and good pressure and durable too. His technique for technique, he's nowhere near Pitbull. Not even close. Pitbull's got some of the best technique in the UFC. I think his boxing is extremely good. I think that his leg kicks and everything he does is just really, really good looking. So he's the tighter boxer. He is the better striker. And no, I don't know if he's the better. I think he is the better striker. I just don't think he's as explosive and hits as hard as this guy. With that being said, he's minus 190, this Kieta guy. And I hit on Pitbull last time versus Dan Ige. And my issues with Pitbull is his activity. Now, he's got power. He's got great timing. But his volume, it's still a problem. So I think in this matchup, I still need to watch, of course. I think Kieta is going to overwhelm him a little bit with the volume. And I think that we're going to see Pitbull just lose a decision because he's not throwing enough. And I think when he goes, he'll have some success. But I think Kieta will be more active, and Pitbull might try to wrestle him a little bit. We'll see what happens. But this is still one that I'm trying to figure out a little bit. But I think that Kieta's athleticism is going to play dividends, his speed. And I think he can have finishing upside on Pitbull, who we've seen, who is 38 with all these fights, So if anyone's going to finish him, it's going to be a young, heavy-handed, athletic guy. And Kieta has shown that he has some extreme power. So I do think that Kieta has upside here. He's minus 190, which is interesting, but it's just a fight I'll have to watch. So I'm going to go with Kieta by decision, and let's move on to the next one, where we got Farez Ziam. He's taking on Kaue Fernandes. Now, Ziam, he had an excellent performance against the Frivola. That was one of my favorite knockouts just because of the crowd. It was awesome. And Ziam has had that French tendency in the past. If you go look, he tapped against Terrence McKinney on a choke that wasn't even in. I don't make these stereotypes, okay? So I just want to let that be known. And for any French people watching, it's not my fault, man. And I'll talk about the two guys in the main event who are dogs, you know what I mean? So, or co-main and main. But Ziam has had that tendency in the past. He's seemed to clean it up. His takedown defense is excellent. His kickboxing is very clean and slick on the feet. And he's taken on Kaue Fernandes, who is a good fighter, man. Like, he's come out here. This isn't a great win, but dominated Garam. And I don't know how good Garam is, but Fernandes has some hard low kicks, some really, really hard and devastating low kicks. And this should be a high entertainment fight. I like this fight quite a bit. Overall, I think that Ziam just is better on the ground, and I think that if he wants to, he might be able to wrestle. And that's kind of weird saying, but I think he might be able to. And on the feet, I think he can take away some of that space of Fernandes, check the kicks, either get out of the way or, just attack. And I think he's just a better kickboxer. I don't think that Fernandes is a bad underdog, though, so I wouldn't hate a shot on him. Plus 185, I don't know what he's at right now. He is at plus 245. So another time where you're getting Fernandes as an underdog, where he looked extremely good as an underdog last time. I think Fernandes is game. I think this should be a pretty good scrap. I like the fight quite a bit stylistically, and these guys remind me of each other. So I'm excited for this one. I like Farez Ziam. I think he's a better boxer, and I think he has the upside in the grappling as well. So I'm going to go with Farez Ziam here by decision, and we'll move on to the next one, where we have Modestas Bukauskas versus Paul Craig. What a shitty fight, and I don't know why it's on the main card. Bukauskas is a guy I'm going to be able to fade one day. And it's going to hit, man. It's going to hit because Bukauskas is not a good fighter. Lost his last fight out to E1 Kutsalaba 100%. Taking on Paul Craig here. Yeah, he's probably going to win. Minus 310, he'll probably win. I don't know what else to say about it. Give me Modestas Bukauskas by finish. Borralho taking on Mason Jones. This is a scrap, man. This is an absolute scrap. Absolute fucking scrap. Borralho had an impressive one last time out. I thought he looked very good versus Michael Aswell, who had some moments, and I think that Mason Jones is just better. I think that Mason Jones is a very good favorite here. He's proven that he's as durable as it gets. He has been on an incredible win streak, and the only losses he's got in his career are to good fighters. I believe it's Ludovic Klein and Mike Davis, right? And those are great fighters. Good, very solid fighters. I think that he's got the upside in the boxing. Maybe not the explosiveness and the speed of Oki, but I think he's got the upside in the boxing and in the takedowns as well. So, and the durability as well, and the cardio. So give me Mason Jones here. I really like this Mason Jones as an underdog, as a slight favorite here, where he's at minus 185. Some money come in on Oki. I don't like it. I don't think Oki's a great grappler. I don't think he's anywhere near as complete as Mason Jones is. So I'm going to go with Mason Jones here. I think he wins this fight by a decision. And we'll move on to the next one, where we got BSDs taking on Ruffy. I think Ruffy's going to kill Saint-Denis, While Ruffy has some questions, not gassed out, but, kind of faded in the James Lonsop. You drop around to James Lonsop, it's a hell of a problem for me, 100%. But I don't think Saint-Denis has looked good, man. That last fight was not impressive to me at all. Prepelec, I thought that was a horrible performance. And Ruffy, he is extremely athletic. He's extremely fast. And I think he's going to put Saint-Denis out. I do. Minus 205 here. Saint-Denis is obviously as tough as they come, man. This guy's never going to give up. And he is the opposite of a typical French fighter. The opposite. So I definitely have a lot of respect for Saint-Denis. And a lot of heart, a lot of toughness. But, he's outmatched on the feet and in terms of the speed. I think that Ruffy's going to put him out. And Saint-Denis, yeah, he's got some decent grappling, and his pace is pretty good, but I think that Ruffy's going to put him out. So give me Mauricio Ruffy, minus 205 here. We'll have to watch again. The main event, Nassourdine Imavov versus Caio Borralho. We got an even fight here at minus 115 each side. Now, Imavov should smoke him. Really skill for skill, resume for resume, it ain't close. Borralho's got one good win. And matter of fact, if you don't know, I'm going to let you know, I don't like Borralho at all. I think that he's cocky. I think he's arrogant. And I think he thinks he's a lot better than he really is. Because he's 17-1 here. I think he's got a long win streak against who? He's beaten Jared Cannonier's his best win. Brennan Allen. Adesanya KO. Just look at this. Cannonier. Paul Craig. Abus Magomedov. Decision. Horrible fight. Oleg Zaechuk, submission. Good one. He's been submitted a couple times. This is not even a comparable resume. And I think Imavov has a much higher upside. I think he's quicker. I think he's got better boxing. I'm not too worried about the takedown threat from Borralho. I know people are going to say, whatever about Borralho, but he hadn't taken down Jared Cannonier. He didn't take him down there. I think that Borralho is going to be trying to grapple a lot, and I don't think it's going to work. I think Imavov is going to absolutely dominate him. I think Imavov should be minus 200. Just from my thinking, I got to watch film, of course, but I think the film will tell me the same thing, that Imavov should be minus 200 because he just knocked out Israel Adesanya. When's the last time you've seen Borralho knock out anybody, man? Paul Craig's the last time, and the only time I've ever seen him knock out anybody. So no knockout upside for Borralho.